In this video, we'll be looking at this USB stand dock from Pulwtop. This is a BD239B, is the specific model here. They did send this in before review, but as always, does not affect our opinion in any way. We'll start with going ahead and just getting into the box here. So it looks like the only thing we have in the box is the stand itself. This is the sort of back part here, as you can see. Looks like this is what we'll have most of our connections on here, as well as the part that actually connects to the MacBook. Then the top part, I'm guessing, is what the stand kind of clips into. But yeah, that's where all our ports and brains kind of live. The second part should just be essentially the kickstand. So yeah, but it has that part that kind of clips onto the top here. To go ahead and assemble it, we can take this back metal piece and put it in this little slot here like that. Slides in pretty easily. This part here kind of provides support against it, so when it's leaning down, it prevents it from moving around or anything like that, because this metal piece is kind of pushing up against that, and this piece sits flush with that, which looks super good. So the idea is it will kind of sit like that. You have the MacBook on the stand here, of course, and then you have this part plugging into the MacBook with your different connections all at the back here. So looks like a pretty nice way to display the MacBook while also connecting all of your peripherals. But we'll go ahead and set it up and show you what it all looks like. Alright, so this is what the setup looks like. We have everything running off of our MacBook Pro here. So you can see we do have the cable connecting into the MacBook Pro here, and then we just have the two monitors being powered off of that. Their keyboard and mouse are connected wirelessly, but everything else is just connected to the MacBook Pro here. So it looks pretty good, as you can see. It does kind of hide the hub behind the MacBook here, so I think it kind of provides a pretty seamless look here overall, just sitting on the desk here. We'll go ahead and move the MacBook just to show you what it's all connected to. So behind here you can see all the kind of cables and stuff going out of the hub. Like I said, it does a pretty good job of hiding it, which I think also looks nice. Not only is it displaying your MacBook in a nice way, but it's also kind of hiding a bunch of the cables. So I think that looks really nice. Overall, it's definitely a very clean hub compared to a lot of them. But yeah, this is just the kind of setup here. We have the two HDMIs, which is for each of the monitors. And then we have the Ethernet cable going into here. This is limited to gigabit in Ethernet. I have 2 gigabit, so it's going to be throttling it a little bit, unless you use an adapter, but still not too bad. We do still have the two USB ports free here. This one is 10 gigabits per second, which is really fast. And then we have another one here, which is like a slower one, ideal for keyboard and mouse or something like that. On the other side here, we do have a USB-C cable connecting our speakers. There's one for USB-C ports down here still. Both are 10 gigabits per second, so really good speed there. Then we just have an SD card slot and a micro SD card slot, which are also free at the moment. And finally, on the other side, we have the actual cable which connects to our MacBook, of course. This is an attached cable. You can't remove it or anything, but then it goes into that MacBook and the two USB-C ports. Then finally we have the power cable, which is powering the whole thing. So that is not included. You don't have any kind of power cable included, unfortunately. So you'll have to provide your own if you're using this hub. It's a little bit difficult because a lot of MacBook power cables are actually MagSafe, so you won't have a really powerful USB-C one. So you will have to provide a pretty powerful USB-C power cable, which will thankfully at least charge your MacBook at the same time as powering your devices. It will connect the monitors and do all that. So the one cable is doing a lot, but it is something you will have to provide yourself. So you want to make sure that's probably around 65 watts or higher, just to make sure it's charging the MacBook at a decent speed while also powering everything else. So that is one negative. You will have to provide that cable on your own, but everything else is pretty decent. Because it is a dual USB-C cable, it is actually connecting both monitors without using any kind of software. That is normally pretty hard to do on a MacBook Pro. Even on the newer ones like this one, you will have to generally use a software in order to use two monitors at the same time. That's pretty unfortunate with a MacBook, but you are able to actually kind of get around that by using this dual USB-C cable. So thankfully, because of this design, you are able to actually connect both monitors without having to rely on any software, which is really nice. They do support up to 4K 60Hz monitors. This is an ultra-wide monitor running at 1440p. So thankfully, because it's below 4K, it is fully supported. It's even using that kind of weird aspect ratio, which is doing a good job of running the monitor still. It also is running at 100 Hz, which is higher than 60 Hz, but again, that's just because it's not at 4K. So it's up to 4K 60 Hz, but if you're using a lower resolution, you should be able to get more Hertz than just the 60. So that's nice as well, and as I said, it's especially nice that it is actually supporting this aspect ratio. It's not a very common ratio for a monitor, but it is still supporting without any issues at all, and without using any software. So overall, it works really well. You definitely won't have as many port options as a bigger, more robust hub, and I do wish it came with a power cable, but definitely still works very well, and I think it looks really good if you're displaying your MacBook like this. So if you only need to connect two displays and a handful of peripherals, then it does a really good job for this. You're able to connect everything with just that one cable going into the MacBook, which will charge everything and keep everything connected at the same time. Because it's designed as a stand, I think it displays everything in a nice way as well. So overall, I think it's definitely a nice addition to my desk.